Welcome back. President Joko Widodo welcomed the signing of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP agreement at the 37th ASEAN Summit. The president said that it was a historical moment since Indonesia was the initiator of RCEP at the 2011 ASEAN Summit.
President Joko Widodo welcomed the signing of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP agreement at the 37th ASEAN Summit. Jokowi said that the agreement had been through a long process for nearly a decade. All countries feel that the RCEP negotiation process is not an easy one. Therefore, the signing of the agreement is the result of a strong commitment to multilateralism, or cooperation between countries in the region. Nevertheless, Jokowi said that the signing of the cooperation agreement was a start. After that, the countries involved still have to make efforts to implement it. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs revealed that RCEP is a free trade agreement in the region, involving ASEAN countries and 5 other partner countries, where the agreement has the aim of opening market access, providing trade and investment facilities, and promoting regional economic integration. From all sources, for IDX Channel.
Yes, the long journey of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, after 9 years of deliberation, has now entered a new phase. The largest regional trade pact involving 15 countries was finally signed. And viewers, to know more about RCEP, let's take a look at the first graphic in today's infographic session. The first one is, of course, about the facts of RCEP trade. It is 30.2% of global GDP and 27.4% of global trade and 29.6% of global population. And it is 29.8% of global FDI. And for information, the RCEP idea was initiated when Indonesia assumed the leadership of ASEAN in 2011 with the aim of consolidating the 5 free trade agreements that ASEAN already has with its 6 trading partners. The RCEP concept was then agreed upon by ASEAN member countries at the end of 2011. And in the late of 2012, after selling this concept to 6 ASEAN FTA partner countries, the heads of state of government from 16 countries agreed to launch RCEP negotiations on November 2012 in Cambodia. And yes, finally, in 2020, it was signed successfully. A long journey, of course. With the presence of RCEP, what is Indonesia's position and the target of RCEP? The information is in the next graphic. This is Indonesia's position and target in RCEP. The first one is Indonesia's export to RCEP countries in the last 5 years have grown by 7.35%. Meantime, in 2019, Indonesia's total non-oil and gas exports to the RCEP countries reached 56.51% of total exports. In 2019, Indonesia's total non-oil and gas imports from the RCEP countries reached 655.79% of total imports. Meantime, for the target side, in 5 years after ratification, Indonesia's exports to RCEP countries increased by 8 to 11%, and in 5 years after ratification, investment from RCEP countries is targeted to increase by 18.22%. And in the range of 2021 to 2032, RCEP's contribution to Indonesia's GDP is targeted to reach 0.05%. And President Joko Widodo stated that the signing of the trade pact was only the beginning because member countries still had to make efforts to implement it. Meantime, Minister of Trade Agus Suparmanto emphasized that RCEP will push Indonesia further into the global supply chain by utilizing backward linkage, which is to meet the needs of raw materials or auxiliary materials that are more competitive than other RCEP countries, and forward linkage by supplying raw materials or supporting materials to other RCEP countries. The trade minister assured that this will turn RCEP into a regional powerhouse. Then how has Indonesia's trade performance with RCEP member countries so far? The data is in the next graphic. So this is the export performance, import performance, and foreign direct investment from RCEP. The first one, of course, we're going to see the Indonesia's export performance. In 2016, it was on the level of 75.94 billion US dollar. In 2017, it was on the level of 91.86 billion US dollar. In 2018, it was on the level of 100.02 billion US dollar. In 2019, on the level of 95.0 billion US dollar. Meantime, talking about the Indonesia's import performance, it was slightly above the Indonesia's export performance, as you can see from the screen. And talking about the performance of foreign direct investment from RCEP countries in 2016, it was on the level of 20.04 billion US dollar. The number keeps on increasing or pretty much fluctuative actually. And in 2019, it was corrected to the level of 18.77 billion US dollar. And RCEP is considered to open up great opportunities for Indonesia to reap benefits from the trade and investment side. And however, one thing that should not be forgotten apart from opening up market access, which will increase Indonesia's export opportunities, the presence of RCEP also makes Indonesia have to open markets to other member countries. And this certainly has the potential to deepen the trade balance deficit, which in the last 3 years, Indonesia's trade balance with RCEP countries has experienced a deficit. Apart from these, what are the more specific benefits of RCEP? Let's move on to the next graphic. This is the last graphic in today's infographic session. These are the benefits of Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. The first one is full opening of access for 65% of the service sector with increased foreign share ownership limits, simplification of customs procedures, transparency and paperless trade, ease of movement of 152 essential product tariff posed between members, and clearer non-tariff barriers, increased protection of online consumers and personal information, and abolition of tariffs for 92% of goods traded between members. And the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry said that the government should prioritize 3 things to maximize the role of benefits of RCEP for Indonesia. The first one is facilitate access to financing for export activities by maximizing the role of the Indonesian Export Financing Agency. The second is provide facilities by building distribution centers in RCEP member countries. And the third one is strengthening assistance from the government to business actors. If these 3 things are carried out well, then RCEP is believed to be able to contribute 5% to Indonesia's GDP growth. And hopefully the presence of RCEP will be able to make the real positive contribution to the Indonesian economy. Stay tuned on Market Lens because we'll be right back after this break.